What if I told you that you don't need a huge backyard, a homestead, or acres of land to grow your own fruit? What if a small patio, balcony, deck, or even a sunny corner of your yard was enough? Most people assume fruit trees are only for people with large properties. They picture giant apple orchards, towering peach trees, and massive citrus groves stretching across acres of land. But here's the truth. Some of the most productive fruit trees in the world can thrive in surprisingly small spaces. In fact, certain compact varieties are so well suited to containers that many gardeners actually prefer growing them in pots. Imagine walking outside and picking fresh lemons for your tea, fresh peaches for dessert, fresh figs for breakfast, fresh fruit grown without wondering who sprayed it, how long it traveled, or how many days it sat in storage before reaching the store. That's the beauty of growing your own fruit. Today, we're counting down 7 incredible tiny fruit trees that can reward you with harvests year after year while taking up far less space than most people think. Some of these trees stay naturally compact. Others were specifically bred for small spaces. And one of them can produce fruit almost all year long. Make sure you stay until the end because the number 1 tree is considered by many gardeners to be the ultimate container fruit tree. Before we begin, if you love gardening, growing food, and discovering the hidden power of plants, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Potential Garden. Now let's begin. Plant number 1, Meyer lemon. Let's start with one of the most beloved container fruit trees on the planet, the Meyer lemon. If you've ever dreamed of stepping outside and picking fresh lemons directly from your own tree, this might be the perfect plant for you. What makes Meyer lemons so special is their size. Unlike traditional lemon trees that can become quite large, Meyer lemons naturally stay much more manageable. That makes them ideal for containers, patios, balconies, and small gardens. But size isn't their only advantage. Many gardeners consider Meyer lemons one of the most rewarding fruit trees they have ever grown. Why? Because the tree seems determined to keep producing. It's common to see flowers, tiny developing lemons, and mature fruit all on the same tree at the same time. Imagine that. One tree producing multiple stages of fruit simultaneously. It's almost like having a miniature citrus orchard in a pot. And then there's the fragrance. When a Meyer lemon tree blooms, the scent is incredible. The flowers fill the surrounding area with a sweet citrus aroma that makes you want to stand nearby and enjoy the experience. Many gardeners say they would grow the tree for the fragrance alone. The lemons are simply an added bonus. Another reason people love Meyer lemons is their versatility. Fresh lemonade, salad dressings, desserts, tea, seafood dishes. The possibilities are endless. And because you're harvesting directly from the tree, the freshness is unmatched. Store-bought lemons may have traveled hundreds or even thousands of miles. Your lemons travel only a few feet. That difference matters. But as amazing as Meyer lemons are, the next fruit tree on our list offers something completely different. A juicy summer harvest that many people consider one of nature's greatest treats. Plant number 2, dwarf peach. There are few experiences in gardening that compare to biting into a perfectly ripe peach picked directly from your own tree. The flavor, the sweetness, the juice. It's something store-bought peaches rarely match. That's where dwarf peach trees come in. Many people assume peaches require huge trees and lots of space. Fortunately, that's not true anymore. Dwarf varieties were specifically developed to stay compact while still producing full-sized fruit. That's right, small tree, full-sized peaches. These trees often remain manageable enough for containers while delivering harvests that surprise first-time growers. And perhaps the most exciting part is watching the fruit develop. It starts with beautiful spring blossoms. Delicate flowers cover the branches and signal that something exciting is coming. Then tiny peaches begin to appear. Week after week, they grow larger, slowly changing color, slowly becoming sweeter, until finally harvest day arrives. There's something deeply satisfying about picking a peach you grew yourself. You waited for it. You cared for the tree. And now you're enjoying the reward. The best part? You don't need a massive property to experience it. And trust me, the next tree on our list may be one of the most productive fruit trees you'll ever grow. Plant number 3, dwarf fig. Now things get really interesting, because figs are unlike almost any other fruit tree. In fact, many experienced gardeners consider figs one of the easiest fruit trees for beginners. Why? Because figs seem to enjoy container life. Unlike some fruit trees that constantly fight against limited root space, figs often perform exceptionally well in pots. Some gardeners even believe container-grown figs produce better harvests than figs planted directly in the ground. That's a pretty impressive reputation. One reason figs are so popular is their productivity. A mature dwarf fig can produce dozens, and sometimes even hundreds of figs in a single season. And if you've ever bought fresh figs from a grocery store, you know they aren't cheap. But the biggest advantage isn't saving money. It's quality. Fresh figs are highly perishable. Many store-bought figs are harvested before reaching peak ripeness. Homegrown figs can stay on the tree until they're perfectly ready. The result is a sweetness and flavor that many people experience for the first time when growing their own. Another fascinating thing about figs is their appearance. Their broad leaves give them a tropical look that instantly transforms a patio or garden space. Even when they're not producing fruit, they remain beautiful ornamental plants. And that's a nice bonus. A plant that looks great and provides food. But don't go anywhere, because in the next section we'll cover columnar apple, bush cherry, dwarf pomegranate, and one of them might be the best small space fruit tree you've never considered. Plant number 4, columnar apple. Now let's talk about a fruit tree that looks like something straight out of the future. The columnar apple. The first time most people see one, they do a double take, because it doesn't look like a typical apple tree at all. When you think of an apple tree, you probably imagine a large tree with wide branches spreading in every direction. But columnar apples completely change that image. Instead of growing wide, they grow mostly upward, tall, slim, compact, almost like a living fruit-producing pillar. That's exactly why they've become so popular among people with limited space. A traditional apple tree can take up a huge section of a yard. A columnar apple can fit comfortably in a small garden, along a fence, on a patio, or even in a large container. It's one of the smartest solutions for people who want fresh apples without sacrificing space. But here's the amazing part. Despite their unusual shape, these trees produce real apples. Not miniature apples. Not decorative fruit. Full-sized apples. The same crisp, juicy fruit people love. Imagine stepping outside on a cool fall morning and picking fresh apples from a tree that occupies only a tiny footprint in your garden. That's exactly why gardeners are falling in love with these trees. And let's be honest, fresh apples are one of the most useful fruits you can grow. You can eat them fresh, slice them into salads, bake them into desserts, turn them into applesauce, or simply enjoy them straight from the tree. Many apple varieties also store well. That means your harvest can continue providing enjoyment long after picking season ends. Another reason columnar apples are becoming increasingly popular is their appearance. Their narrow, upright growth habit gives gardens a clean, modern look. Some people even use them as edible landscaping. Imagine replacing decorative shrubs with fruit-producing trees. Now your landscape isn't just beautiful, it's productive too. And that might be one of the smartest gardening upgrades you can make. But if you think apples are impressive, wait until you see the next fruit tree. Because this one combines beauty and productivity in a way that's hard to ignore. Plant number 5, bush cherry. There are few sights in gardening more beautiful than a cherry tree covered in blossoms. Before a single fruit appears, the tree puts on a spectacular display. Soft pink flowers, white blooms, branches bursting with color. For a few weeks each year, it looks almost magical. And that's one reason people fall in love with cherry trees. But traditional cherry trees can become quite large. That's where bush cherries change everything. Bush cherry varieties were developed to remain much smaller and easier to manage while still producing impressive harvests. For gardeners with limited space, that's a game changer. Instead of needing a large orchard, you can enjoy cherry harvests from a compact plant. And once the fruit begins appearing, the excitement only grows. Small green cherries slowly develop. Then they begin changing color. Week after week, they mature, until eventually those branches become covered in beautiful ripe fruit. The best part? You can often protect a small bush cherry much more easily than a full-size tree. Birds absolutely love cherries. In fact, they often seem to know exactly when the fruit reaches peak ripeness. But covering a compact bush cherry with netting is much easier than protecting a giant tree. That's a huge advantage. Many gardeners also appreciate the versatility of cherries. Fresh eating, pies, jams, desserts, smoothies. The possibilities are endless. And because cherries can be expensive at the grocery store, harvesting your own feels especially rewarding. There's something satisfying about walking into your garden and picking fruit that would cost a small fortune at the store. But believe it or not, our final tree may be one of the most overlooked fruit trees in the world, and yet it has been cultivated for thousands of years. Plant number 6, dwarf pomegranate. Pomegranates are ancient, incredibly ancient. People have been growing and appreciating pomegranates for thousands of years. Entire cultures celebrated them. Artists featured them. Farmers cultivated them. And generations passed down stories about them. Yet today, many people have never considered growing one themselves. That's a mistake, especially when it comes to dwarf pomegranate varieties. These compact trees are perfect for patios, containers, and small gardens. And once you see them in person, you'll understand why they're so special. First, let's talk about the flowers. Before the fruit appears, pomegranate trees produce stunning bright orange-red blooms. They're bold, they're vibrant, and they immediately attract attention. Even if the tree never produced fruit, many people would grow it simply because it's beautiful. Then the fruit begins developing. Round, colorful, distinctive, unlike almost any other fruit in the garden. And inside each fruit is a treasure chest of jewel-like seeds. Hundreds of them. Bright, juicy, beautiful. Opening a pomegranate feels less like harvesting fruit and more like uncovering a hidden gem. That's part of the experience people love. But another reason pomegranates are so popular is their toughness. These trees are surprisingly resilient. They tolerate heat well. They handle dry conditions better than many fruit trees. And once established, they can be remarkably dependable. For busy gardeners, that's a major advantage. You don't want a fruit tree that constantly demands attention. You want a tree that rewards you while remaining manageable. And pomegranates do exactly that. Many gardeners are shocked by how productive a small pomegranate tree can become over time. What starts as a tiny ornamental-looking plant eventually develops into a reliable producer, year after year, season after season. And because the fruit stores relatively well, you can enjoy your harvest longer than many fruits. Plant number 7, dwarf banana. We've finally reached the number 1 spot. And this choice surprises a lot of people. Because when most people think about bananas, they imagine huge tropical plantations stretching across the horizon. They picture towering plants growing in hot climates thousands of miles away. What they don't realize is that certain banana varieties can thrive in containers and small spaces. And once you discover them, you'll never look at bananas the same way again. First, let's clear up something interesting. Bananas aren't actually trees. That's right. Even though almost everyone calls them banana trees, they're technically giant herbaceous plants. But for simplicity, most gardeners still refer to them as banana trees. And regardless of what you call them, they're absolutely incredible. Dwarf banana varieties were specifically developed to stay much smaller than traditional bananas. That means people with patios, decks, balconies, and small backyards can successfully grow them. And trust me, few plants create a tropical atmosphere faster than a banana plant. The leaves are enormous, lush green, beautiful. The moment one starts growing in your garden, the entire space feels different. It feels exotic. It feels vibrant. It feels alive. Many gardeners grow bananas for the appearance alone. Then something exciting happens. The plant begins preparing for fruit. Watching this process is one of the most rewarding experiences in gardening. Months pass. The plant continues growing. The leaves become larger. The stem becomes stronger. Then one day a flower emerges. And from that flower comes the beginning of a banana harvest. It's genuinely amazing to witness. Because unlike many fruits that appear individually, bananas develop as a bunch. And when that bunch matures, it becomes the centerpiece of your entire garden. Imagine inviting friends over and showing them bananas growing right outside your door. Most people have never seen that before. It's a conversation starter every single time. Another reason bananas earn the number 1 position is productivity. A healthy plant can produce an impressive bunch of fruit. And while patience is required, the payoff can be remarkable. There's also something uniquely satisfying about harvesting bananas. You don't pick them one at a time. You harvest an entire bunch. The experience feels completely different from picking apples, peaches, or lemons. It's memorable. It's exciting. And it's one of those gardening moments you'll never forget. But perhaps the biggest advantage is that banana plants keep giving. After fruiting, new shoots called pups begin appearing around the base of the plant. These pups can eventually become new banana plants. That means one plant can eventually lead to multiple plants over time. Many gardeners share these pups with friends and family. Others expand their own collection. Either way, the value continues growing year after year. And that's why dwarf bananas earn the top spot on today's list. Not because they're the easiest, not because they're the fastest, but because they combine beauty, productivity, uniqueness, and excitement better than almost any other container fruit plant. If you've never considered growing bananas before, this might be the year to change that. Bonus tip: the secret that makes small fruit trees produce more fruit. Now, before we wrap up, I want to share a tip that can dramatically improve your success with container fruit trees. And surprisingly, it's something many beginners completely overlook. Mulch. Simple mulch. That's it. Most people focus on fertilizers, fancy soil mixes, expensive containers, special watering schedules, but they forget one of the easiest improvements they can make: adding a layer of mulch on top of the soil. Why is mulch so important? Because it helps regulate soil temperature. During hot summer days, container soil can heat up quickly. Mulch acts like insulation, helping keep roots cooler and happier. It also helps retain moisture. That means less watering, less stress on the plant, and more consistent growth. Another benefit is that organic mulches slowly break down over time. As they decompose, they contribute organic matter back into the soil. Nature has been using this system forever. Walk into a healthy forest, and you'll see leaves covering the ground everywhere. That's nature's mulch. And it works. Wood chips, shredded leaves, straw, pine bark. All of these can be excellent choices depending on your situation. The difference may not be obvious overnight, but over months and years, healthier roots often lead to healthier trees. And healthier trees usually mean better harvests. It's one of the simplest gardening upgrades you'll ever make. So there you have it. 7 incredible tiny fruit trees that can thrive in small spaces while rewarding you with delicious harvests year after year. From the fragrant Meyer lemon, to the juicy dwarf peach, the productive dwarf fig, the space-saving columnar apple, the beautiful bush cherry, the ancient dwarf pomegranate, and finally, the tropical dwarf banana. Each of these plants proves that you don't need acres of land to grow your own fruit. You don't need a giant orchard. You don't need expensive equipment. Sometimes all you need is a container, a sunny spot, and a little patience. And the rewards can be incredible. Fresh fruit, beautiful plants, a more productive garden, and the satisfaction of growing your own food. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these fruit trees would you love to grow? Are you dreaming of fresh lemons, sweet peaches, juicy cherries? Or maybe you're ready to try growing bananas at home. Let me know in the comments below. I read every comment and love hearing what you're growing. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the potential garden so you never miss future videos about gardening, fruit trees, medicinal plants, and growing more food in less space. Thank you for watching. And remember, the smallest gardens often produce the biggest surprises. This is the Potential Garden, and I'll see you in the next video.